Hello and welcome to Motherland Kitchen. Today we'll be making chicken DG. This is a dish that is typically Cameroonian. This dish is called Poulet DG. Poulet for French chicken, translation into English. DG, Directeur Général, Director General. In the 80s, Cameroon was one of the strongest economies in Africa. The country had so many businesses and there was a lot going on. There were tons of international representation. You had banks, you had oil companies. The economy was booming. So the women in the capital city came up with this dish and they named it Poulet DG. So chicken DG was a dish that they assumed you could only afford if you were a director general in one of those parastatal companies that were in Cameroon at the time, or you had the salary of a director general. Because this dish, a plate of this dish, which was actually a big tray of a whole chicken, some vegetables, carrots and string beans, bell peppers, seasoning blends, leeks most especially, and cilantro and parsley. Very, very tasty dish. And also black pepper and seasonings. They would also put plantains in this dish when the chicken was already done. But the plantains were not the yellow plantains. The plantains would be plantains that were between green and yellow. So like olive color. So with a little hint of sweetness, but they still stayed crunchy after they had been fried. So the plantains were not yellow plantains. They were just between green and yellow, which I call the olive color. And the whole chicken would be served to a customer who walked into their quote-unquote restaurant, which was actually an eating house in their living rooms. The whole chicken with all the vegetables and the fried plantains together with some drinks. Just the plate of chicken was, at the time, 5,000 CFA, which is the equivalent today of $10. But think of what $10 was in the 80s. $10 would feed a family of maybe 6, 7. But that was the cost of a plate of that dish in those women's makeshift restaurants, which was actually selling food in their living rooms. So Poulet DG is a typical dish from Cameroon that many people enjoy, and I'm going to show you how to make Poulet DG or chicken DG today. First, we will season our chicken. So we're using the whole chicken. Feel free to use chicken pads if you don't want to do a whole chicken at home. You can buy your chicken already cut into pieces. And also, the chicken that they used was not the hard chicken, because hard chicken would not cook within 30 to 45 minutes. So when these people came into the women's living rooms, they were not coming there to spend the whole day to wait for the food. No. They will come in and sit for a few, maybe 30, 45 minutes, and they wanted to be served. So they'll use the chicken that will cook quickly. So you don't have to use the hard chicken for this dish. Just use the regular soft chicken. We'll also take the skin off. They did not do that when they made the dish because the skin is part of the cooking. But here we want to make sure we take the skin off. That's where all the fat is. And I'm cutting the chicken in bite sizes, so really small pieces. So now season my chicken. Put some pepper. Seasoning salt. My leeks, cilantro, parsley mix. Remember, salt to taste, so put your own salt that you can tolerate. And always a pinch of salt. And I add my pre-seasoned chicken to the oil. Let it begin to cook. Now, when the chicken cooks, normally the women would add the carrots and the string beans. But I'm going to deviate from that a little bit. The reason being, the carrot and string beans are frozen, so there's a lot of water in them. So I'm not going to add it to my chicken. I'm going to parboil it on the side and scoop it out of the water and let it drain. So I don't add too much because the chicken DG doesn't have a sauce. It's like a stir fry of a chicken. So we don't want too much water. So I'm going to, because this is frozen, and even if I used the fresh, I still usually would not put it to my chicken. I would cook it on the side and add it at the end. So I'm going to parboil the greens. Pinch of salt. First, I would put my green beans. As usual, we'll add a little bit of curry for the color and flavor. And notice we're not going to add any water. We'll let the chicken cook in its own juice. The chicken is frozen, so it has enough juice to cook. So chicken DG is like a stir-fried chicken kind of. My beans is boiling. Now I'll add my carrots because these will cook faster. I'll now add my mix, onions, bell peppers. Now peel my plantains and get ready to fry them. So the plantains are a little bit firm and hard. They are not yellow plantains, they are olive. And you slice them very thin. Leave the pot open now so the steam can fizzle out. As usual, a pinch of salt. One other reason why these women actually use the olive green plantains was because they are easy to store. So if they bought a bunch of plantains and did not sell all of it on the same day or the next day, obviously the plantains will start getting ripe. So what would they do? They would slice them and put them in bags and put them in the freezer. So when they need to serve, they take them out of the freezer and fry. So, but it would be difficult if they had to use ripe plantains because ripe plantains don't keep very well. If they get into the freezer, they become soggy and so on. So not only would the olive plantains hold very well, they also taste better in the mix because they're a little bit crunchy, they are not soft. So you fry your plantains to golden brown and take them out. Our chicken is cooked. It's a soft chicken, it cooks in no time. It's cooked. So once our chicken is cooked, while waiting for the plantains to fry, we'll now add our carrots and string beans and turn off the stove. This is so colorful and so tasty. And so tasty. Feel free to use as much of the vegetables as you like. The more vegetables, the better. We all need vegetables in our lives, so the more the better. But this is your chicken Directeur Général, the whole chicken. Again, use chicken parts if you don't want to do the whole chicken. You can buy whatever chicken parts that you want to use for your chicken Directeur Général. Let the plantains fry, and then we serve and see how the final dish looks like. Our plantains are now cooked golden brown, and actually the plantains are added when they serve. So they're not going to add the plantains into the pot. They're only added while they're serving. So we'll see how they do the mix. Put some chicken and some carrots, and we throw in some plantains. Some chicken and some carrots. Throw in more plantains. The whole idea is to make sure we can have some juice on the plantains. And I can tell you, this dish is absolutely delicious. Absolutely delicious. When the plantains are crunchy, with the juice from the chicken and the carrots and the string beans, absolutely delicious. So this is your chicken Directeur Général. Very colorful, flavorful dish. The dish was made in the 80s. That's when it started by the women in the capital city of Cameroon, Yaoundé, and since spread all over the country, and everyone in Cameroon makes chicken DG and loves chicken DG. The only thing I'm trying to emphasize here is do not use ripe plantains. Ripe plantains are made for making what we call dodo or aloko in West Africa. Chicken DG or Poulet DG, we use the near between green and yellow plantains so that they stay crunchy and they stay live in the dish. You can see the golden brown pieces of plantains as they mix up with the carrots, the green beans, and the chicken, looking just very beautiful. So, do your chicken DG, and I'll see you next time with another dish. So this is your chicken DG, as the women called it, Poulet DG, Poulet Directeur Général. Thank you. See you next time.